Welcome to the Rascor Health and Safety Induction. With 50 years experience in waterproofing, we support major clients across all sectors, always putting safety first. Over the next few minutes, we'll guide you through some essential safety information you need to know while working on Rascor sites. We'll cover your legal duties, site behavior, fire safety, first aid, and how to report accidents. We'll touch on topics like chemical safety, manual handling, and hand safety. We will also look at work planning, housekeeping, electrical tools, and working at height. Please give this your full attention. Your safety and the safety of others depends on it. In the next slide, we'll cover the legal responsibilities of Rascor as your employer, as well as your own duties as an employee. Let's get started. These are the employer's legal duties under local health and safety legislation. Rascor must ensure a safe workplace, carry out regular risk assessments, provide training and information, consult with staff, and obtain the services of competent personnel. The company must also maintain safe systems of work, provide welfare and first aid facilities, report certain accident and incidents, and carry out health checks where needed. Next, we will look at your duties as the employee. The following are some of your most important legal duties as an employee under local health and safety legislation. You must take reasonable care of your own safety and that of others, cooperate with your employer, follow all safety procedures, use equipment and PPE properly, and report any hazards. You're also expected to take part in training and never misuse safety measures. Remember, both employers and employees can be held legally accountable if found negligent. Next, we'll review some general behavior rules on Rascor sites. Smoking is only permitted in designated areas on Rascor sites. Mobile phones may be used only in designated areas and in line with the site-specific induction. Horseplay or inappropriate behavior is strictly prohibited at all times. Up next, we'll take a look at the fire safety arrangements. Fire is a high-risk hazard. It demands our full attention, proactive controls, and strict compliance with safety procedures to prevent serious harm or damage. If you discover a fire, activate the nearest fire alarm immediately. When you hear the alarm, leave the building using the nearest exit route and go directly to the designated assembly point. Do not take personal risks, do not stop to collect belongings, and never use lifts. Only re-enter the building when you're told it is safe to do so. All staff should be aware of basic fire prevention measures. If you notice anything or anyone that may pose a fire risk, report it immediately. Avoid the buildup of combustible materials around work areas, exits, or lift lobbies. Never block fire exits, fire equipment, or ventilation grills on electrical items. Keep fire and smoke doors closed. Do not wedge them open. Follow the building's smoking policy and try to maintain a clear desk to help prevent the rapid spread of fire. Use a fire extinguisher only if you've been properly trained. Never use foam or water extinguishers on electrical fires, as this can be highly dangerous and may result in electrocution. Up next, first aid and how to report accidents on site. On this slide, we can see the RASCOR accident and incident flow chart. In the event of any accident or incident, the Rascor safety officer and directors must be informed immediately and no later than 30 minutes after it occurs. Rascor employees must know who the designated first aider is on site and where the first aid boxes are located. All accidents, incidents, near misses, and dangerous occurrences must be reported to your supervisor immediately. If an accident isn't reported in time, It may not be possible to verify or investigate it. All incidents must be documented using the official Rascor accident reporting forms. Now, we'll go through the control of substances hazardous to health, or COS-H. At Rascor, working with chemicals is part of our daily operations. That's why it's vital for every employee to understand the associated risks and be properly trained in safe handling, following site procedures, local regulations, and the guidance in safety data sheets. Let's take a closer look in the upcoming slides. All Rascor operatives must complete the following online training, as they may work with materials containing isocyanates. These substances require strict safety procedures during handling and application. The required module is 049, Professional Application, Flooring and Waterproofing Applications, the T049, Professional Application, Flooring and Waterproofing Applications. Training module is designed for professionals who handle polyurethane products containing diisocyanates in flooring and waterproofing contexts. This training is mandated under EUREACH regulations for anyone working with products containing more than 0.1% monomeric diisocyanates. Every chemical used must have a safety data sheet available. These must be stored at the chemical storage area with a master copy on file. They should not be removed except in an emergency. Before using any chemical, staff should read the relevant safety data sheet, especially the sections on first aid measures and personal protection requirements. Rascor maintains safety data sheets on Procore, specific to each site and the materials used. Staff can access these at any time to ensure they are informed about the substances present on their site. Chemical storage areas must be kept locked when not in use. On site, all chemicals must be stored securely in trays, and the same applies when transporting them in Rascor vans. Every chemical must have a label with basic information. If a label is missing, do not handle the item and report it to your line manager. Always refer to the safety data sheet to confirm what personal protective equipment is required before handling any chemical. When using chemicals, always wear the right PPE and wash your hands after. Store chemicals safely, with lids on and warning signs displayed. Lock cleaning cupboards when not in use. Rinse equipment after use and follow the manufacturer's instructions for dilution. Put away deliveries straight into storage. Hazardous substances can enter the body in 3 ways: breathing in fumes, contact with skin, or swallowing, often from hand-to-mouth contact. Next, we'll cover manual handling requirements. Manual handling injuries are the leading cause of work-related absences in Ireland. That's why it's essential we protect our backs and always follow proper manual handling techniques and guidelines. All manual handling tasks will be risk assessed and training provided. Use lifting equipment where possible and don't lift if unsure. Remember TILE, task, individual, load, environment. Check all 4 to stay safe. Think before you lift. Plan the lift, check the path, and clear any obstacles. Use aids or ask for help if needed. For long lifts, rest midway to adjust your grip, just like with shopping bags. Keep the load close to your waist and body while lifting. Place the heaviest side nearest you. If you can't get close, slide the load in first. Stand stable with feet apart and one foot slightly forward. Be ready to move your feet to stay balanced. Avoid tight clothes or unsafe footwear. Get a good hold. Hug the load close rather than gripping with just your hands. Start with a slight bend in your back, hips, and knees, not a deep squat or full stoop. Avoid bending your back more as you lift. Avoid twisting the back or leaning sideways, especially while the back is bent. Shoulders should be kept level and facing the same direction as the hips. Turning by moving the feet is better than twisting and lifting at the same time. Keep your head up. Look ahead, not down, once the load is secure. Lift smoothly, don't jerk or snatch the load, only lift what you can handle safely. If unsure, ask for help. Put the load down first, then adjust its position if needed. Stay close to the load at all times. Up next, we'll be covering a key topic: personal protective equipment. Wearing the mandatory 5-point PPE is essential on all sites, but it's just the starting point. It's equally important to assess the specific task at hand and ensure any additional protective equipment, like respiratory protection, harnesses, or chemical-resistant gloves, is used where required. The right PPE for the right job keeps us safe and compliant. All Rascor site personnel must wear 5-point PPE: hard hat, high-vis vest or coat, safety boots, safety glasses, over or prescription, and gloves. This screen shows examples of task-specific PPE required for Rascor works, along with the accepted site standards. In addition to the mandatory 5-point PPE, the following task-specific personal protective equipment is required for Rascor works, including but not limited to chemical-resistant gloves, long-sleeve t-shirt worn under a standard high-vis vest for chemical works like mixing desmopol or other similar products, FFP3 NR respirator for dust generating tasks such as drilling or cutting concrete, respirator mask with particle filter for handling chemicals like desmopol, Juta primer, etc. Ear defenders or ear plugs rated at 36 decibels for high noise environments. Hard hat with 4-point chin strap, EN397 for working at heights. Safety harness, EN361 with short restraint lanyard, EN354/EN358 when working in MEWPs. Full face visor for cutting operations using an angle grinder. These items are critical for ensuring worker safety during specific Rascor tasks and must be used as required. At Rascor, we're committed to keeping our employees safe on site. Wearing proper hand protection helps prevent injuries like grazes or cuts from pinched skin or sharp objects. For example, a laceration from sharp rebar could have been avoided, or at least reduced in severity if the right gloves were worn. Following past incidents involving hand injuries, we've kicked off a hand safety awareness campaign across the company to help prevent anything like that happening again. The idea is to promote safer work habits and remind everyone how important it is to use the right tools, wear the correct gloves for the job, and follow the standard operating procedures, SOPs. We want to get everyone thinking more proactively about hand safety. Eye protection is mandatory at all times on site and must meet EN 166, 167, 168 standards. Wear a full face visor with safety glasses when cutting or grinding. Use safety goggles when using power tools like drills. This is a real example of why eye protection matters. A nail entered the eye, causing a serious infection that led to permanent vision loss. Wearing protective glasses would have prevented it. Here's another strong reminder of the importance of wearing head protection. A whaler recently fell from a low height and struck his head. Thankfully, he was wearing a helmet and only required 3 stitches. Without the helmet, the outcome could have been significantly more serious. Noise protection. Protect your hearing at all times. When exposed to continuous noise levels above 80 decibels, hearing protection is mandatory. As a guideline, If you're in an area where you need to raise your voice to be heard at a normal speaking distance, you must wear hearing protection. Vibration awareness. Before operating vibrating tools, all Rascor workers must receive a RAMS briefing that includes hand-arm vibration, HAV, awareness. This briefing outlines the safe exposure times for each type of equipment. If you're unsure about the limits or procedures, always check with your supervisor before starting work. The prolonged use of vibrating tools can lead to the development of HAVS, hand-arm, vibration syndrome, a serious condition that affects blood vessels, nerves, and joints in the hand and arm. Wales disease or leptospirosis. This is a serious infection from contact with rat urine, often in dirty water. It starts with flu-like symptoms and a bad headache. You can catch it through cuts or by getting contaminated water in your mouth, eyes, or nose. To prevent it, wash up after work, cover all wounds, and keep good personal hygiene. In the next few slides, we will talk about working at heights. Working at heights remains the leading cause of fatalities in the construction industry. This is why it's critical that we plan all work at height thoroughly and ensure every safety measure is in place before starting. Your safety depends on it. When working at height, collective protective measures, such as guardrails or scaffolding, must be implemented before relying on individual protective measures like harnesses, in line with the hierarchy of control. Would you work at height without checking your gear first? You must be trained to check, wear, and adjust your harness properly. A harness won't stop a fall, but it can reduce injury. Make sure recovery plans are in place. Always store your harness properly. Let it dry naturally if wet. Never leave it in heat or sunlight. Don't write on it or store it in toolboxes or the back of vehicles. Follow these ladder safety basics. Use alternatives like MEWPs where possible. Ladders are for short, light work only, with a permit if it's a straight or extension ladder. Inspect it, set it up correctly, and tie it off. Don't overreach, don't use the top 2 rungs, and never move a ladder while on it. Scaffolding safety requirements. Only individuals with a valid CSCS scaffolders card are permitted to build, modify, or dismantle scaffolding. Exclusion zones must be clearly defined and maintained during all scaffold erection and dismantling activities. A valid scaffold tag must be in place and clearly visible at all times. Materials stored on scaffolding should be kept to a minimum to prevent overloading and maintain clear access. Work must be planned properly. You need method statements, risk assessments, a permit to work, and a safe plan of action. All of these are mandatory. Method statements must include a risk assessment and be submitted 48 hours before work starts. They're required for high-risk tasks. Everyone must understand the risks, follow the controls, and cooperate. Work permits are required for all work activities and are issued shift by the main contractor on site. They're only valid for that shift and must have a completed SPA attached. At the end of each shift, return and sign off the permit. This confirms the work area has been left safe and clean. Safe Plan of Action, SPA, mandatory for every task and shift. A new SPA must be completed before the start of each task and shift. It is filled out by the crew on site and reviewed by the supervisor prior to work commencing. All team members must sign the SPA to confirm they've understood the plan, agreed with its contents, and actively contributed to its completion. If the main contractor does not implement or enforce a SPA process, Rascor operatives are required to use the Rascor SPA template to ensure a consistent and safe approach to all activities. If a new crew member joins, the supervisor must explain the SPA and get their signature. If the task changes, stop, discuss the changes, and update the SPA. If needed, write a new one. Rascor's policy is clean as you go, because a clean build is a safe build. Keep floors, stairs, and walkways clear and in good condition. Store materials safely, remove or flatten nails, and keep cables off the ground. Never stand under suspended loads. Only trained workers should sling and direct loads. Follow the banksman's signals and respond to sirens. Inspect lifting gear before use. Don't throw materials up or down. Use tow boards and respect exclusion zones. All electrical equipment must be tested every 3 months on site and yearly in offices. It should have a PATI test tag and color code. Check plugs, leads, and tools before use. Damaged items must be removed and cables must be routed safely to avoid trip hazards. Would you attempt to cross a busy road? No, hence the reason. Pedestrian and traffic are separated. It's the exact same when you are on site. Stick to the designated walkways. Mobile plant and equipment safety. Only trained and authorized personnel are permitted to operate mobile plant. Do not ride as a passenger and never use a mobile phone while operating equipment. Stay visible at all times. Never assume the driver can see you. Always adhere to the site speed limit and keep clear of the danger zone around operating plant. Before using any portable power tool, carry out a visual inspection. Only use tools that are 110 volts. Tools must be either double insulated or properly grounded. Always plug into outlets protected by ground fault circuit breakers. Never attempt to repair or modify tools yourself. Safety guards must remain in place at all times. Don't use the power cord to lift or lower tools. Damaged tools, cables, or connectors must not be used. Report them immediately. Tie up long hair, secure loose sleeves, drawstrings, and ID lanyards before using any motor-driven tool. And remember, you must be trained and listed on the register to mount abrasive wheels, whether on a grinder or a chop saw. At Rascor, all accidents and incidents are fully investigated. We always share lessons learned with our employees and clients to raise awareness and help prevent them from happening again. Always use dust control and the correct recycling skips. Separate hazardous waste in yellow bins. Store oils in bunded areas. Use drip trays and never let chemicals reach drains. Report all leaks or spills. Keep noise to a minimum. Environmental topics may be covered in toolbox talks. Ask your supervisor if you'd like to know more. After safety, quality is key to our success. It leads to future projects and jobs for everyone. Act professionally on site and in welfare areas. No shouting or bad language. Wear clean, tidy workwear and keep tools organized. Install to a high standard with all fixings properly tightened. Use only approved construction drawings and don't remove drawings from site. We retain discretion in respect of the disciplinary procedures to take account of your length of service and to vary the procedures accordingly. If you have a short amount of service, you may not be in receipt of any warnings before dismissal, but you will have the right of appeal. If a disciplinary penalty is imposed, it will be in line with the procedure outlined above, which may encompass a formal verbal warning, written warning, final written warning, or dismissal, and full details will be given to you. All warnings will be effective from the date they are initially communicated to you in writing. Warnings will be issued in accordance with the company's disciplinary procedures and will be for corrective purposes. Warnings will be issued in all cases of misconduct, regardless of the specific issue. Any further breaches, whether similar or unrelated, will be treated as additional disciplinary matters and may lead to progression through the disciplinary process, up to and including dismissal if previous warnings are ignored. We also reserve the right to skip stages in the process where the seriousness of the misconduct justifies it. This discretion will be applied fairly and consistently. At any stage, whether formal or informal, we may involve external parties, such as HR providers, to support the process. We also reserve the right to voice record formal meetings to ensure accurate records are kept. Disciplinary process. Overview. This process is in place to ensure all employees meet company policies and standards, while also providing a fair and structured way to address any issues of misconduct. Key principles guide the process. Confidentiality is maintained at all times. While the procedure is not part of your employment contract, it is followed unless there's a justified reason to do otherwise. The company may also involve external HR providers or independent parties where appropriate. There are 3 main stages in the process: suspension with pay, used only when necessary to allow a fair investigation to take place. Investigation. During this stage, the facts are gathered and an informal meeting may be held to clarify the situation. Disciplinary hearing. A formal meeting where you will receive written notice outlining the allegations, a chance to respond, and the right to be accompanied by a colleague or a certified union representative. This process is designed to be fair, transparent, and supportive of both the company's standards and your right to a proper hearing. Disciplinary outcomes and appeals. Procedure. Following a disciplinary hearing, a range of outcomes may apply, depending on the severity of the issue. These include no further action or a letter of concern, a recorded verbal warning valid for 6 months, a first written warning lasting 12 months, or a final written warning also valid for 12 months. In more serious cases, dismissal may occur. Summary dismissal applies in cases of gross misconduct and takes effect immediately without notice. Procedural dismissal follows prior warnings and includes notice pay. Where appropriate, alternatives to dismissal, such as a transfer or demotion, may also be considered. Appeals must be made in writing within 5 working days of the outcome. An impartial person, either internal or external, will hear the appeal. Employees may submit new evidence or raise concerns about the process. The appeal decision is final and will be confirmed in writing. Types of misconduct. Misconduct is categorized based on its severity: minor, major, or gross misconduct. Minor misconduct includes issues like repeated lateness, careless work, taking excessively long breaks, or inappropriate use of phones during work hours. Major misconduct covers more serious matters such as breaches of safety rules, insubordination, or repeated minor offenses that have not improved despite prior warnings. Gross misconduct involves the most serious breaches and may result in immediate dismissal. Examples include theft, violence, serious safety violations, fraud, substance abuse, discrimination, and misuse of company data. General rules apply across all types. The company may bypass certain disciplinary steps depending on the seriousness of the misconduct. While length of service may influence how the procedure is applied, it does not remove your right to appeal. All warnings are issued in writing and are intended to support improvement and accountability. What you can count on. From Rascor, if you stop the task for a safety reason, we will back you up. If you bring up a safety concern, we will address it promptly. It will not go into a black hole. If there is an injury, we will conduct an incident investigation in such a way that the person is not blamed. We need to learn so that we can eliminate the next injury. Use the Rascor safety suggestion box to share safety concerns, ideas, or improvements. We'll review each suggestion, take action where possible, and give feedback. Together, we can build a stronger safety culture. Thank you for attending the Rascor Safety Induction. Throughout this induction, we've covered a wide range of topics essential to working safely and responsibly on site, including your legal responsibilities and expected general behavior, fire arrangements and first aid procedures, including how to report accidents, safe handling and awareness of chemical agents, correct techniques for manual handling, the importance of PPE and knowing when and how to use it, awareness of noise and vibration hazards, the risks of leptospirosis and the proper use of fall arrest equipment, work planning, housekeeping, and preventing falling objects, safe use of portable and temporary electrical equipment, working at height and staying clear of danger zones, pedestrian safety, mobile plant and work equipment use, promoting environmental awareness and quality assurance. And finally, understanding our disciplinary procedures for breaches of safety rules. In summary, safety is everyone's responsibility. By following site rules, staying alert, and using the right equipment properly, we all help create a safer, more efficient working environment. Before you go, don't forget to scan the QR code or use the link provided to complete the induction quiz. This confirms your understanding of what we've covered today. Thanks again and stay safe.